Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast Five, brought to you in partnership with Microsoft, the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Takeoff, and Sezzle. The OmniTalk Fast Five podcast is the podcast that we hope makes you feel a little smarter, but most importantly, a little happier each week too. Today is August 18th, 2022. I'm your host, Ann Mazinga.
And I'm Chris Walton.
And we are just back from a trip to the Fleet Feet store in the South Loop of Chicago, ready to discuss all the top headlines that made waves in the world of omnichannel retailing this week. Chris, did you notice how seamlessly I said Fleet Feet store?
Yes. I mean, that was amazing. Like you and believe me, that is not easy to do.
No, I've had a lot of struggles over saying the last
you have
48
and
hours.
That read was you're so energized this morning too. Like I couldn't believe it.
Well, I'm surprised, but I'm going to roll with it.
I'm impressed. Yeah, but we went to the Fleet Feet store. We shot some video. We're going to have that for you shortly. Shot some video of Amazon's new Just Walk Out technology at Hudson News in the Chicago Midway Airport too.
Checked out the Lululemon experiential store. I made Chris take a class up there, but it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah,
you
did. That was like your Mecca. That was like your Mecca pilgrimage.
I'll hang out in that store all day.
But we're a little road weary, but we're ready to rock and roll. And actually, we have two also road weary guests today, because back for their regular monthly appearance on the Fast Five are our guest hosts from the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. I'm pleased to introduce you again today, Abhinav Chandra and David Brown. How are you guys both this morning?
Doing great. Looking forward to it, Chris. Great
same here.
Morning.
Yeah, you guys are troopers. I mean, this is going to be quite a primo show today with all of us, like just still so passionate about talking about all the retail headlines, but also very tired from our jobs helping and intersecting with other retailers in the industry.
Right. David's flight was canceled last night. Abhinav's just back from Australia. So we're all world travelers here. We're ready to go. But why don't you guys start off by telling the audience a little bit about yourselves, give them your background.
Abhinav, let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Abhinav. I'm a managing director at Alvarez & Marcel's Consumer and Retail Group. Have 15 years experience in retail, started at McKinsey's Retail Group, worked at Amazon, and now I'm a managing director at A&M's CRG Group.
Excellent. David, tell us about you.
Thanks, Ann. Very similar to Abhinav. Grew up at Kearney and McKinsey, a little bit of retail banking before that. Do almost all of my work in luxury and in beauty, really working across the retail value chain.
Exciting. We've got some topics to cover with both of you today. We're gonna need your most insightful opinions on it today.
Exactly right. And I gotta say this to you. I gotta give credit where credit's due. David has the best flow of anyone in the A&M Consumer and Retail Group.
I was gonna say
he's got the best mane. He does. He really does.
And skin.
For those
David,
watching on TV.
I feel like you definitely work in luxury beauty. I can tell. Right. I was like, I see where this is going. Abhinav, you have that Australian glow. Also.
They're just laid back, Abhinav.
All right, we're embarrassing.
All right, I had to do it because it's fun. That's why we do on the show. Now, normally this is where we read our reviews, but given the headlines, because they're pretty awesome this week, and the fact we've got guests on the show, we're gonna get right to today's headlines. But stay tuned, Erica Retail Junkie, because we see your review and we plan to read yours next week. Today's Fast Five is brought to you with the help and support of our good friends at Grocery Shop.
Yes.
Are you a retailer or a brand thinking about attending Grocery Shop this year? Well, don't even think about it without using our promo code specifically for OmniTalk's loyal listeners. Just go to groceryshop.com and enter promo code RBOT1950. That's RBOT1950 for your special discounted rate. In today's Fast Five, we've got news on Walmart picking Paramount Plus for its streaming plan partner, rumors that Ahold Delhaize may be acquiring Albertsons, Facebook and DoorDash teaming up for marketplace deliveries, a headline so good, we saved the best for last, which is QuikTrip licensing Amazon's Just Walk Out tech down in Tulsa. But first, we take off with a bevy of quarterly earnings announcements. And
all right, for headline number one, Chris, we're going to talk about earnings season is upon us once again this week, as a number of retailers reported their quarterly figures. Here are a few of the highlights.
Yes, please indulge me.
All right. Walmart beat analysts' expectations, citing a 6.5% comp store sales growth last quarter. Home Depot also beat expectations, seeing a 5.8% comp store sales growth, while warning that it does not expect to see a slowdown.
So it does expect to see a slowdown.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Warning.
Yes.
It does expect to see a slowdown in the back half of the
big
year.
Warning.
Yes.
Ooh, ominous. Ooh. Okay.
Well, it would be weird if they did not. That was like their announcement. We do not expect to see a slowdown.
No one ever says that, right? Yeah, right. That's a good point.
And finally, Target reported a quarterly profit drop of 90% year over year as it cleaned through inventory and saw comp store sales growth of 2.6%. Abhinav, let's go to you first. What are you going to take away from this week's earnings reports?
First of all, I want to put it in a little bit of context. Context is that inflation has been running 8-9%, around 8-9%. So if anyone is growing less than 8 or 9%,
right,
year over year, that means either unit sales are down or people are buying items that are lower priced, or a combination of both. And that's what's going on here across the board. In case of Target, I think it's a good decision for them to clean out the inventory and take the profit hit in this counter, especially because the mix of sales are changing. They are changing away from apparel to more non-discretionary, and they were heavy on apparel.
Right.
And apparel, having run an apparel business myself, I know how difficult it is to get rid of inventory. Right. Products go out of season. I mean, you cannot sell your summer items in winter. I mean, it's not going to sell. So you have to take the hit. They have taken the hit. I think they have made the right decision, even though it was super painful. In terms of Walmart, they have held on to inventory, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
They have held on to inventory, which is interesting. 40% of it, they claim excess inventories because the price of the inventory has gone up. They are 15% bloated, according to them. It'll be interesting to see. I think they will have to take the hit. Maybe they will choose to take it over a period of time, but I think it'll be more painful for them. In case of Home Depot, I think if you look at it, their transactions were down. Mm-hmm. So the inflation is helping them to get to that 5.8%. And they will see, I think they're right in saying that they will see a hit in the second quarter because they had a second half of the year, because last year they had a blockbuster year.
Right.
And then this year with home sales dropping, interest rate at whatever, 5%, I think they are going to see a little bit of a hit, and they're right in calling it out.
So Abhinav, I got to ask you then, because there are a lot of Walmart execs, and Walmart execs on social media are going to be a topic later on too. But there are a lot of Walmart execs taking credit for their strategy working based on the results that they're seeing here. If I read between the lines of what you said, though, I would be a little more cautious if I was them, based on the fact that heavy grocery business, high inflation, sales aren't really at the level that you just said. Would you agree with my statement there? It seems like you're shaking your head. Yes.
I would agree that I would be a little bit more cautious. They have done okay on the top line, I think. But it's the profitability where I would be a little bit more cautious as they move forward, because they will have to get rid of that inventory eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll take a bit of a contrary view, at least on the Walmart piece.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Because I think Walmart, if anybody, benefits from the trade down effect more than others. So, I think their whole part of their whole inventory strategy is waiting to see that play out. It's not people trading all the way down to a 99 cents or something like that, or a Dollar General, but if you were shopping at kind of the Safeways and Albertsons and Targets of the world, and you do have a natural trade down, it is Walmart. So I think there might be a bit of a bump that they get there that they're counting on if the economy continues to vacillate over the next 6 to 12 months. But we'll see if they're right or not. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with David. I was actually wondering, if we start to see a shift now, if people are going to Walmart because of lower priced groceries, if they do have that excess inventory, are they picking up other things while they're on that trip that they previously may have gone to Target for or something? And how does, we look at Target's offering. Target's not been known for grocery, especially produce, being one, affordable, or two, of good quality. And so I'm kind of curious to see how these results are impacted by changing customer behaviors and where they're going for those stores. But what are your Oh, go ahead, David.
I know gas has come down a little bit and everything like recently, but if you think about making one stop instead of 2 or 3, right, it plays exactly what you're talking about, Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I 100% agree with you guys too. I mean, I guess, I don't know how contrary that position was to David in a lot of ways. I think a lot of it makes sense. I think, the point that I think I was trying to make more so was just like, you had a decent quarter, but let's not, ring the bell that, everything's rosy, in general. But, I mean, they also just laid off a bunch of people too. We can't forget, but I don't know. I mean, the takeaways for me are really simple. To me, it was Target's inventory position. As we surmise, I think, David, you might've been on the show the last time.
Right. We
said it was going to be much worse than people thought, or at least that they were leading us to believe at that time. So I want to take a victory lap on that. And then, I think inflation, is, particularly danger for Target because of their, particularly a danger for Target because of their product mix as well, which is why, it shouldn't be a surprise that Walmart had the results it has because it's such heavy grocery. But I don't know, last words on anything, you two?
The only thing I would say, the trade down effect is also like, even though they may make the sale on grocery is lower margin.
Right. 100%. Yep. Yeah, right. Exactly. So, but they've got a lot of room to go there too, in terms of, what they mean for the marketplace in general, and can probably withstand the inflation pressures better than many others out there too, which I think 100%. Is David's your point too. All right, let's keep rolling. Go ahead, David.
Last point really quick, Chris, on the, on the home improvement category, right? That the reckoning was coming. They've had 2 great years during the pandemic where everybody did everything in their home, and that there's a natural cycle that effect here that hard to avoid.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep moving. Let's go to headline number 2. After reports teased the link up last week, it is now official. Walmart has picked up Paramount Plus to be the official streaming partner for its Walmart Plus subscription service. Walmart will begin offering Paramount Plus to all Walmart Plus subscribers at no additional cost, a service which on its own costs at least $4.99 a month. Numerous Walmart execs, as I alluded to before, took to social media this week, most notably Chief Marketing Officer William White, and friend and former colleague had this to say on LinkedIn, quote, "One of the most requested perks for Walmart Plus is coming in September, exclamation point. In addition to free delivery from Walmart.com and discounts on gas, members now also get the Paramount Plus Essential Plan, a $59 value," end quote. David, are you sharing the Walmart execs' enthusiasm for this new partnership?
Yeah, I haven't often said this on this show, but I absolutely love this one. Like,
really?
I think.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Tell us more.
Wow.
I'm a huge fan of this move.
Oh my God. Okay, why?
Well, a couple of things, right? So, like, if you think about the 2 dominant players that are racing to build a complete bundle, right? Amazon's well ahead.
Yeah.
And they had to have a video response, since they sold Vudu to Comcast a few years ago, which was never going to work out. This now gives them content. It's a content that I think matches up pretty well with their demographics. They got the CBS version of football. They got a lot of kids stuff. It's a broad
Yellowstone,
middle America content, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think Paw Patrol is the real important
Paw Patrol.
It's
like, they got a bunch of great stuff.
Yeah.
They, the other streaming services they looked at, right? Disney was never going to do a deal.
No, they don't need them.
They don't need them. Walmart was never going to build it, right? They're not driven by an ego-fueled desire to own a studio that, kind of the way, I think Amazon started. So I think it's a great play to keep some, make them more competitive with Amazon Prime Plus, and, Walmart Plus is becoming a viable alternative. Well, I can't wait to see what's the next piece of that they add to Walmart Plus.
Wow, I can't wait to talk about this. All right, but Abhinav, you got to go next. What are your thoughts here? Do you agree with David?
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as David went to say I love it. I would say they had no other option. They had to put something together to compete with Prime if that's their goal. And
is that their goal? Yeah, right. Okay.
If that is their goal, or that should be their goal, that is a different question altogether.
Right.
So I think if they had to do it, I think this was the most viable option. I guess that was on the table. The more interesting piece to me was when they report they've never publicly said what are their Walmart per subscriber growth numbers. They've never publicly said it.
Published those, yeah.
Which is same in line with Amazon when it was going through with the Prime. It never published it. I think they started publishing 6 years ago.
Yeah.
The bigger thing is, as I read between the lines, I think they say, yeah, our subscriber base is growing monthly. Every month it continues to grow. But the language is so soft that it makes me believe that the growth is not what they were expecting. And they have to do something to energize it. And I think this is probably a move that will help them. Now, how far, I will wait to see.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what you think on this. We haven't talked about this. So do you think this is the move that's going to energize the growth or not?
I agree with Abhinav. I think we have to wait and see how much this impacts. Because honestly, for me, it still isn't enough to get me to do a Walmart Plus subscription. And like, there's a key missing component here.
Yeah.
With Amazon Prime Video, you have no ads. Okay. And this platform is for the $4.99 version. You still have ads. Like, at least Walmart get the ad-free version. Like, that's a big, I don't think it's a big deal when you're looking at like $5 a month. I don't think it's enough of an ad to get the needle pushed the way that they think they're going to get it from this.
Yeah. Well, okay. Go ahead, Abhinav.
No, I would say
Something to get in here.
In case of Amazon with Amazon Prime, the Amazon Prime subscription stood on itself even before Amazon Prime came along. And it was doing really, really well when Prime came along. And then as Prime came along, it brought more customers in. So it was helpful for sure. And as you called out, it was always ad-free with the Prime subscription. So Walmart Plus, I think this is a sweetener, but Walmart Plus core offering has to stand by itself.
Before it can be, before this is creating the value. I see what you're saying.
But I think what you guys are talking about is really important in this, because like, and it goes back, I thought when we talked about what is the goal of this, I think that's really important, is like, why in our minds do we mentally say like, oh, it's a subscription program, it needs to be bundled and it needs to be like Amazon's, when in reality, the beauty of what Amazon does is they've created the flywheel around the Prime membership. And it fuels everything that Amazon is doing. So Amazon owns its own content studio. Walmart doesn't. Walmart is basically buying the content studio from Paramount. So it's not going to get that same flywheel effect. So that's my point, is like, I don't think it's going to do anything. I coined the phrase last night. I think this is a Paramount over a Molehill. Like, honestly, like that's what's going on here.
I don't know that I'm going to give you credit for that. It's pretty
weak, but hey, points for trying, Ed. Come on.
I guess.
But I just don't get it, because even in the statement that William White said, like, if your current Walmart Plus customers are asking for it, I mean, it's not going to get you incremental subscribers, most likely, because they're already with you. You know, to your point, they saw some value in it that you're not seeing, and they signed up for it. So they got it anyway. That's great. But I come back to it. It's like, it's not the same thing from the flywheel approach that Amazon takes with it. And so the two things from a business model perspective, to me, could not be more different. And the real advantages Walmart has to find is, where are those synergies? Like the gas discounts. Yes, that makes sense. You know, Walmart or Amazon can't do that, right? Scan and go services in store. Yes, that makes sense. You can advertise off that platform, which is yours.
Right.
You don't get that with Paramount Plus. David, last word here though, because I pretty much just disagreed with you.
Yeah, I think the big piece you're missing though, Chris, is the draw of NFL and just how popular NFL is. You know, now I know, all of the streaming services have a little piece of it. CBS is still, and Fox are still the two biggest pieces of it. So having access to that and not having to pay for an NFL Red Zone or something along those lines, I think is going to be really key to this deal. And
so you think they're setting this up for the future of how the NFL streaming battles get won? Okay, well, that's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't know. I think that's maybe over attributing a little bit to them, but in terms of NFL, in terms of how to play out.
It's NFL plus other content, right? You know, there's still established content in the Paramount network. I mean, you can talk all you want about the flywheel of Amazon and Amazon Prime. They've bought a lot of content. All of their produced content is still not taken hold the way some of the content that exists on the other platforms is, right? They, it's hard to argue that they have 2 or 3 shows, let alone 10 or 20, that that they have produced that people are clamoring to see.
I don't know. I think that was debatable as I'm watching Boys religiously right now, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's good. Well noted. All right, Ann, let's keep moving.
All right. Headline number 3, Ahold Delhaize is rumored to be evaluating an Albertsons acquisition. According to European media outlet Retail Detail, one of my favorite named retail outlets,
for
by
sure.
the way,
Yeah.
the Retail Detail. 2 Albertsons planes were spotted last week at Bedford Airport next to Ahold Delhaize's U.S. base in Massachusetts. Neither side at this point has confirmed or denied the rumors. Abhinav, David, who wants to take this one? Because I got to hear what your thoughts are on this potential, the rumored relationship between.
Yeah, let me start on the point you just said, because I think that sums up the deal in this thing. Why the hell is there 2 planes there? Right? I mean, if I'm a whole executive, I'm like, okay, this place is so poorly run. The cost structure is so bloated that they show up with 2 planes. I see immediate synergy, both from a cost standpoint, but then
I agree.
Such a great
David,
point.
I thought about that. It's so funny. David and I are on the same wavelength this week too, because I was
harmonizing.
Like, if you're going to send execs and you don't want people to know, why are you sending a branded plane to this location?
2 of them.
Like, yeah, exactly. Okay, keep going though, David.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But beyond that, I do think there's potential synergies, right? The geographic footprint fits very well. Ahold primarily East Coast base. Albertsons with Safeway and their other properties are primarily West Coast based. So if they do want to be a national player, and there's a lot of benefits to being a national player in terms of leverage, in terms of synergies, and all of those type of things, then this is a natural play for them. I mean, unless they're going to buy a super regional like a Raley's or something like that, which is probably a better run grocer. Then this is, I think, the logical option.
So net, you're okay with this move?
Yeah.
You like, yeah.
Abhinav, where do you land?
Yeah, I 100% agree with what David just said. My local grocery store is Safeway, and I do not like going there, but the next grocery store is 10 miles away. So
right.
I have no other option but to go there. But since the pandemic started, I only order online. I don't like going in the store. It's old. It's creaky. It's not a pleasant experience to shop.
Right. That's what they're talking about with this merger that could be helpful, is that a lot of those Safeway stores, the Albertson stores need those improvements, and hopefully Ahold could come in and help do that. Yeah. But Chris.
No, I feel the same way. I'm this one, David and I 100% agree on. I thought the point about the Jets was amazing. Actually, that was such a canny pickup there. But I mean, why not? Ahold gets grocery. They don't have a presence on the West Coast. The grocery game is getting more and more about scale by the minute here too, I think, as you look to compete in the US. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Go for it. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, especially as we're looking at who the major players are setting themselves up to be. You look at Kroger and Ocado moving across different geographies with their fulfillment centers. And I think that if you start to think about Ahold picking up more of the West Coast grocers like David and Abhinav are talking about, I think that allows them to kind of invest more heavily in those centralized fulfillment centers that could allow them to really start to compete with Kroger and Amazon Fresh and other grocers that are starting to look at this mass expansion.
All right. Headline number 4, Facebook Marketplace and DoorDash are teaming up on local Facebook Marketplace deliveries. According to the Wall Street Journal, the deal is an attempt to get more people, especially younger ones, to use Meta-owned Facebook, while for DoorDash, the partnership boosts its ambition to expand into delivering more than food. The service has been tested in several U.S. cities in recent months and lets Facebook users purchase and receive items from Marketplace without ever leaving their homes. The service will deliver items that fit in a car trunk, and deliveries will be made to addresses up to 15 miles away and are usually made within 48 hours, the Wall Street Journal reported. Terms of the deal for either side have not been disclosed at this point. David, what do you think of this move for both parties?
This one made me laugh.
Oh, really? Okay.
For a couple of reasons. One is I love the comment about trying to get younger. So, I guess that my mom if she was still alive, would have been 100 today. She's just approaching, to be old enough to be a Facebook user. Like,
David bringing it today. I love it.
So, I guess, like from a delivery standpoint, that would be beneficial from her. But I don't know, to me, this harkens back to something we talked about last year on an episode. I think it was 7-Eleven and DoorDash.
Right.
That it seemed a little bit of desperation on both their points, right? At Facebook, the driving way to get younger users is to try to get DoorDash users through Marketplace. I don't think that's the answer. And I think, I get DoorDash's play of trying to get away from anything grocery into other items. And that was the same play with, I think it was 7-Eleven. So this is another play on that. But to me, this is a splash announcement that is going to have very little practical impact on either company.
Wow. All right, Abhinav, you going to agree with David? I feel like you've agreed with him so far on one, disagreed on another. We're kind of half disagreeing on the first headline. Where do you come down on this one? So I'm pretty sure Anne's going to disagree pretty wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So I am actually going to disagree here, David, with you.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Here is the thing. I think it's a play for the future. And I think the announcement or the partnership has an asymmetrical benefit, I think, from both sides. First of all, I'm a huge fan of DoorDash. They are a very nimble and innovative company that is coming up with new business models, and they are working with all different kinds of retailers to try to figure out how to deliver fast in an e-commerce environment. And part of success of e-commerce, part of it, not all of it, part of it depends on fast delivery. And so if you have the selection, if your experience of selling the product online is good, then delivery is the third piece that needs to fit in. And so DoorDash has done that really, really well for a bunch of retailers, and they continue to expand. So this is another sort of feather in their cap. If from Facebook perspective, I think the jury is still out. I'm on the Facebook side, I'm with David. Facebook is not known as a place where you would go and shop. I mean, they are not the destination that you would think that they are currently. However, they could get there in the future. There could be a world in the future where you can think of as they launch Meta, as the metaverse, their platform, you are playing game in the metaverse and you see something that you want to buy in the metaverse, you buy it and then DoorDash delivers it. You are playing, for example, you are playing a game in metaverse and you see something that you like. You order it and DoorDash delivers it to you. I mean, it's much further ahead in the future, but the point is that Facebook needs to improve its shopping experience. When it does and is able to compete in the e-commerce space, they have the delivery part figured out. So that's the thing. That's the jury is out on the Facebook side. But I think from a DoorDash perspective, they continue to expand. They continue to add more things. And independent of who succeeds, if they have everyone, they will succeed from a delivery perspective.
Yeah, they're taking a portfolio bet, right?
Exactly.
I agree with you on the DoorDash side. I just don't have any confidence Facebook ever gets
that part. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. The short-term, long-term Facebook. The part I think that's missing in this conversation, which I'm pretty sure Anne's going to bring up because I know her and she's a religious Facebook marketplace shopper.
Yes.
Is the Facebook marketplace angle, which is very different than say the Facebook feed and shopping from that or the metaverse eventuality too. But Anne, what do you think?
Exactly what I was going to say. I think that there's an important distinction to be made that is exactly that, where, shopping at my local retailer on Facebook and using that for DoorDash, that's fine, but that's not enough to get me to get a Dash Pass, for example, and have a subscription. But Facebook Marketplace and having DoorDash fulfill Facebook Marketplace transactions is a 100% going to get me to get a Dash Pass without question. I mean, Facebook Marketplace in a lot of communities has pretty much overtaken Craigslist. And the worst part of that transaction is having to drive it whenever it works for that particular
or to meet somebody you don't know.
Individual to meet somebody you don't know is having to go through that part of it. And I think keeps a lot of people from doing Facebook Marketplace type transactions. But allowing peer-to-peer commerce to take place in a much more convenient way for a little to no fee on top of whatever it is you're already getting a deal on, because it's a resold item, is brilliant. I think that this is great for, DoorDash to be able to say, look, we're everybody, Instacart, whoever, we can give you your beauty store, your drug store, whatever on top of your subscription, but we are going to eliminate that friction and the unpleasant experience of having to buy something from a complete stranger, and having that transaction be one and done. Anything that will fit into a trunk gives you access to a large variety of items that you can have this transaction. And I think that, this is such an untapped market as we're thinking about what the possibility for enhancing this peer-to-peer transaction looks like. We just talked to Cleveron. They've been doing peer-to-peer locker transactions so that you can even eliminate these experiences forever in Estonia. And I think that, we're going to start to see more facilitation of these transactions as resale as a concept becomes more important. I love this.
Damn, you go, girl. Go, Gina.
Okay, and you've
David, what do you think?
I want it for today because I don't want to drive to two locations.
I have a table full of stuff sitting in my office that I've been needing to sell. I'm actually going to try it on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll
report back.
See how many what happens. I reserve the right to change my opinion, but I'm not changing it yet.
Damn, you just mic dropped David, I think, man. That was awesome. I don't even have anything to add. Like, I agree with you. I think my thing would just be, it's a real pain point in the marketplace experience that this potentially solves.
Right.
I think there also is the element longer term of how Facebook does commerce. And I've long posited too. I think I wrote in Forbes back in the end of 2020, where there is a link up for Facebook and these third-party delivery services to get together, whereas and create a world where you're shopping from your feed, and behind the scenes, the delivery operators just source it for you wherever's most economically viable for you and give you the option of where you want to choose to purchase it from. So I think that could come later, but I think you're 100% right. This is about the marketplace, and that is big volume. Like, there are billions of dollars running through the marketplace.
And I wonder,
at least until the TikTok Amazon stream comes out, right? So
potentially too.
Today, I saw that too.
I also wonder, like, what information Facebook is going to be able to gather, and DoorDash for that matter, that they could also potentially sell to the retailers of products. So, like, if somebody's searching restoration hardware sofa, like, can you start to say, like, restoration hardware, this is what the second life of your products looks like. Right. These are what people are searching for. This is the potential value.
So you're all in.
Oh yeah,
all in.
I know.
Chips on the table.
You're going to need a bigger trunk is right, David. All right, let's go to headline number 5. According to CSP magazine, QuikTrip is opening a non-gasoline convenience store with Amazon's no checkout, just walk out technology in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa customers can enjoy QuikTrip snacks, including the Nitro Coffee Station with freshly brewed coffee, as well as its complete menu of grab-and-go items like fresh donuts, salads, wraps, and QuikTrip's pizza by the slice. For perspective, QuikTrip, that's QuikTrip with a Q, is number 10 on the QSP's top 200 convenience store chains and has over 900 stores with an estimated annual volume of $11 billion per year, according to Winsight. Abhinav, what do you think of this decision by QuikTrip to sleep with the enemy?
I think it's a good one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. So when Amazon started AWS, it all started similarly. They had their own infrastructure of computers. They built their own services. Then they decided, it's a good idea to sell it to others. Let's see if others buy it. And if they buy it, and now we have a huge AWS business on Amazon. It's in the same vein from Amazon's perspective. From QuikTrip's perspective, they are not going to build this technology. They have to sort of, if they want it, they will have to buy it from somewhere. Amazon has the best technology at the moment. And that's the path that they are going down on. I think QuikTrip is a convenience store. They want convenience, and this provides convenience to their customers. So I think it's a good partnership. Now, going back to the analogy that I was making earlier around AWS, as the evolution of AWS has happened, a lot of retailers have stopped using AWS and have moved to Google Cloud, because they feel even though the two businesses are separate, the profit that they are making on AWS is subsidizing the retail business, which is their competition. Now, this may play out in the same way in the future, But as of now, there are limited set of options. And the quality of technology that Amazon has is way, way far ahead than anyone else has got it. Walmart, I think, is trying to build it, but they are nowhere even close. And so if this is the only play that you have, then that's the one you've got to take, and you have to think customer first. And if you think customer first, you have to provide more convenience. You have an option. Why not?
Interesting. So you like the move because you think QuikTrip's thinking customer first, that this is a real threat or a real new way to shop convenience stores. We have to understand it and make sense of it. So we're going to partner with Amazon. That's your basic point. Okay.
Yeah.
David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to end on a little kumbaya. I actually really like it too, for all of the reasons that Abhinav just said. The other thing that I think is interesting in this is, as you noticed in the announcement, it's one of their non-gas locations.
Right.
So I actually think this speaks to a future strategy around how are they going to think about the transition to electric vehicles and all of their gas locations, and actually convert them into true convenience stores. And so in some ways, to me, this is a customer first pilot on what could be the strategy to eliminate gas stations long term.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I don't like it. I don't think that the checkout free technology race is happening that quickly, that you need to saddle up with Amazon, that you need to put the saddle on the horse of Amazon right now. I don't, because there's plenty of players in the marketplace that are showing an ability to do what Amazon is doing, and waiting another year or 2 years to take a partnership with them, I don't think really disadvantages you that much. But you start getting in bed with Amazon and building these stores, first in Tulsa, and then they said they're going to build more of them throughout the region. Like, if you do that with Amazon, that's going to put you that's kind of, we're back in the e-commerce mousetrap that Toys R Us and Target and everybody else fell into back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I don't know, but I mean, what I take away from it is, I think the threat is real. Number one, that QuikTrip thinks the threat of checkout free retail as a shopping experience is real. The second thing is probably that the convenience store players in the space for checkout free technology are probably not ready for prime time yet. I think that's an important point here that Abhinav's bringing up too. And you have to remember, like Trigo, who we've spotlighted on the show, has deliberately tried to stay away from the convenience store market because they believe in scaling to grocery and proving that out. But we've seen 3,000 store checkout free spaces from them that work too. Exactly. So like the technology can't be that far away with somebody else. So I don't know. I just don't like it for those reasons.
I think that's what's puzzling to me here, is that these are all new stores that they're going to have to build with Amazon. Amazon's not retrofitting spaces yet. And I think that's where, when you're QuikTrip, the size of QuikTrip, like we talked about, and you can't retrofit yet any of your old stores, you're only going to be able to build these new stores. And I think David's bringing up a good point about like the future of what the convenience store and gas station looks like.
100%.
I do think, though, to that point, there's some advantages of bringing Amazon in if there's something we don't know. Like, what do we not know about this relationship that's happening too, where you're starting to think about, if Amazon does want to build the future gas station, is this a player that gives them suddenly access throughout the middle of the country, like all along 35 that goes, north to south? They suddenly have access to all of those gas stations with QuikTrip. Could be a play here that we just don't have visibility to.
The other point I would make
that could
too,
be a huge assortment play. That could be an access play. I agree with you on that one. And
the tentacles of this get really interesting if you start thinking about it. The other point I would make too, that I think is really important here, is it shows you that Amazon's tech is really licensable at this point.
Exactly. Like
QuikTrip, Hudson News, and the airports, all the airport stores, the sporting events, like they've got that thing dialed in now. If people are signing up to it to the degree that they are. Abhinav.
Yeah, well, my question, this is a question, not an answer here. Back to you guys. Like, what's the competitive threat that you think exists from Amazon for them? Like, by licensing this technology, they're only licensing the technology. They're not licensing anything else.
Well, I think it's the same way. I mean, I don't think it's that dissimilar than what they did with e-commerce. Like they built everyone else's e-commerce websites. That gave them the revenue to build theirs better and do it better over time. They kept the best technology for themselves in theory relative to what they were giving to their provider, to who they were providing it to. It's the same thing here with convenience store retailing. Ultimately, and at the end of the day, they could learn to do the convenience store business. They have a competitive threat in Amazon Go that's growing fairly rapidly. That's kind of my thought there, Abhinav. What do you think, though?
My thought is, this is like AWS. The point that you make that this may be funding some other parts of their business from a profit perspective, that I can totally.
100%.
That I agree with.
Yeah.
If that's the only angle, then that's fine. But in terms of licensing the technology, yes, they will teach them something, but they will make the technology better for them and for QuikTrip as well as for themselves. And both sides are going to benefit as the technology evolves. It's not like they are using different services from that perspective. So, yeah.
I would buy that if they weren't doing Amazon Go. Like if they're like, we're just licensing this technology, we have no interest in a physical store play, I would buy that argument. But David, last word here, and then we'll get to the lightning round.
I think that was spoken like a true Amazon alum.
And by that, you mean what Abhinav said, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, you guys, let's get to the lightning round. First question is for you, David. Airbnb is rolling out new anti-party technology that can automatically detect the types of bookings that might result in an unauthorized party. David, what party trick or topic is your go-to at an authorized or unauthorized party?
Yeah, it's probably more unauthorized, but when I left Kearney years ago and went to McKinsey, I made the announcement at a holiday party, and there was a karaoke thing. So I spent like 3 months perfecting a couple Eminem tunes.
Oh my gosh!
And so that I could actually have a mic drop moment. So I've kept that up. So like, you know, if you see me like at some karaoke event, I'll break out a pretty good Eminem. Given that
what song?
You have to wait and see that one.
Well, we can't get a freestyle taste, huh? Oh man. All right, we're gonna hold you to that. You can be ready.
Maybe save that for another podcast.
No, we're gonna get you an Eminem one next time. All right, Abhinav. A 1 in 2 million bright blue lobster was found by a father and son in Maine recently. Who is your retail lobster other than Amazon, who you just absolutely cannot live without?
I would have to say Google. I don't go to malls anymore. I shop online, and if I cannot pick Amazon, then I'm searching on Google.
Are you? Wow. Okay, you're that committed. Wow, dedicated.
All right, let's go back to you, David. Snoop Dogg is coming out with a line of lookalike Fruit Loops called Snoop Loops. And if you were going to create your favorite cereal, what cereal would it be?
Yeah, I'm super boring on this one. I love oatmeal, so it would be some kind of mashup of oatmeal with all my other favorite flavors. So I'd have to have, you know, a lot of nuts and berries and probably a little bit of brown sugar, honey, or something like that. So nothing creative on this one. I
That's
can't
okay.
really top Snoop.
Oatmeal's creative. You could make your own. You could take your own spin on oatmeal.
I do love how like the market, the oatmeal market has expanded, and now there's all of these craft oatmeal players out there that I think are doing some really cool stuff, whether it's protein based or collagen.
Are there really?
Based or
Oh yeah,
that might give me back. I hate oatmeal. That might get me to get back into it, I guess. But
man, you should revisit.
Go into a good retailer and take a look at the oatmeal shelf. They're killing it these days.
All right, yeah, all right. That's a big hurdle for me to climb. All right, in a move to increase its freshness perception, Subway now plans to slice its own meat right in store. Abhinav, what was the last sandwich you ordered at Subway?
I think it was Italian carbonara sub. Yep.
Nice.
He knows the exact sub. I don't even know. I would be like a turkey one. I don't know what it's called. It's got the turkey and the whatever. Yeah.
I think I got the BLT one in like 2012 in Casper, Wyoming. That was the last time I was in a Subway inn. That's not my favorite. All right, that wraps us up. Happy birthday today to Andy Samberg, Christian Slater, and one of my all-time favorites, Mr. Roy Hobbs himself, Robert Redford. And remember, if you can only read or listen to one retail blog in the business, make it OmniTalk. Our Fast Five podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news. And our twice weekly newsletter tells you the top 5 things you need to know each day, and also features special content exclusive to us and just for you. And try really hard to make it all fit within the preview pane of your inbox. You can sign up today at www.omnitalk.blog. Thanks as always for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcast or on YouTube. And remember to use your promo code RBOT1950 to register for Grocery Shop. That's RBOT1950. Finally, David, if people want to get in touch with you and the A&M Consumer and Retail Group for a little consulting services and advice, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Easiest way is either through our website, Alvarez and Marcel /CRG, or you can find Abhinav, myself, or any of us on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being with us today, you two. Again, that's David Brown and Abhinav Chandra of the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. On their behalf and from all of us at OmniTalk Retail, as always, be careful out there.
The OmniTalk Fast 5 is a Microsoft-sponsored podcast. Microsoft Cloud for Retail connects your customers, your people, and your data across the shopper journey, delivering personalized experiences and operational excellence. And is also brought to you in association with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities toward their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Takeoff. Takeoff is transforming grocery by empowering grocers to thrive online. The key is micro-fulfillment, small robotic fulfillment centers that can be leveraged at a hyper-local scale. Takeoff also offers a robust software suite so that grocers can seamlessly integrate the robotic solution into their existing businesses. To learn more, visit takeoff.com. And Sezzle. Sezzle is an innovative buy now, pay later solution that allows shoppers to split purchases into 4 interest-free payments over 6 weeks. To learn more, visit Sezzle.com.